Welcome to Level Up Mathematics, Day 1 of the Math Bootcamp. I'm Alejandra, the founder of Level Up Mathematics, and I'm here to guide you through your first day. Welcome to multiplication. Now, what is multiplication? Multiplication is the repeated addition of the same number. So if you want to add 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, you can turn it into 3 times 4. This is because there's 4 times of 3. Let's say you have 4 boxes. Inside of each box, there are 3 lollipops. There's 2 different ways to figure out how many lollipops you have in total. The first way is you can add them all up, which could take a long time. The second way is by simply multiplying the number of boxes by the number of lollipops in each box. This leads you to 12 lollipops. Here are more examples of multiplication. In the top left, we have 2 cups with 4 pencils. In the top right, we have 4 pairs of apples with 2 apples in each pair. In the bottom left, we have 3 groups of 3 rulers. And in the bottom right, we have 5 pots with 3 flowers in each pot. By completing the multiplication equations, you can see we have 8 pencils, 8 apples, 9 rulers, and 15 flowers. There is a lot of memorization in multiplication. In order to get the gist of it, all you have to do is memorize multiplying numbers 1 through 10. If you can't remember it, just remember to add the same number over and over again, however many times the question asks for. Take a moment to familiarize yourself with the chart. Now we're going to discuss some multiplication vocab. The 2 numbers that are going to be multiplied are called factors. So in this equation, 2 and 4 are the factors. The number that is the solution of the equation is called the product. That's the fancy way of saying the answer of a multiplication problem. The product in this equation is 8. This page shows all the terms used in a multiplication equation. If somebody says 3 times 4, that means to multiply 3 times 4 together. 2 groups of 5 means to multiply 2 and 5 together. Finally, 8 multiplied by 6 means to multiply these 2 numbers together. Now, we're going to go over some special tricks to help you with multiplication. First, we start with the ones. Any number multiplied by 1 will not change. For example, 1 times 2 equals 2. 1 times 8 equals 8. 1 times 748 will equal 748. Any number multiplied by 1, no matter how big and outrageous the number is, will never change. Any number multiplied by 2 is always even. An even number is any number where the last digit, or the last number, is 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. For example, 4 times 2 equals 8, and 5 times 2 equals 10. As you can see, 10 ends with a 0, making it an even number. One last example is 8 times 2 equals 16. As you can see, 16 ends with a 6, which makes it an even number. Doubling numbers share every other product. When one number doubles, the other number gets cut in half. For example, the products of 3 can be 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, and 18. Then, the products of 6 can be 6, 12, and 18. Notice how it's the same as the 3's, except they skip every other number. This works since 6 is double of 3. This same pattern also works with 2 and 4, 5 and 10, 4 and 8, and every number that has a double. All you do is double the number and split the other factor in half. You can see more of this in the next slide. When one number doubles, the other is cut in half. 6 is double of 3, and 2 is half of 4. This means they have the same product. Then, 8 is double of 4, and 4 is half of 8. This means they have the same product as well. Any number multiplied by 5 always ends in a 5 or a 0. 4 times 5 equals 20, which ends in a 0. 5 times 5 equals 25, which ends in a 5. And finally, 8 times 5 equals 40, which ends in a 0. Try it yourself. Any number multiplied by 5 ends in a 5 or a 0. There are a lot of tricks to memorize the 9's, but today I'll only go over one of them. Take one less and add on the number that adds to 9. This may sound complicated, but it's easier than it sounds. Let's take the equation 3 times 9. If you minus 1 from 3, you get 2. Then you have to find what adds with 2 to equal 9. Subtract 9 from 2 and you get 7. Then you attach the 7 on the back of the 2, turning it into 27. So minus 1, then attach the number that equals to 9. This trick works for numbers 0 through 10. When multiplying by 10, add 0 on the end. This is like the multiplying by 1 rule, except you slap on an extra 0. 3 times 10 equals 30, which is basically a 3 with a 0 attached on the end. 8 times 10 equals 80, which is an 8 with a 0 attached on the end. This works because 10 only has one 0 on the end of it. This same process works for 100, which has 2 zeros, so you add on 2 zeros. 1,000, which has 3 zeros, so you add on 3 zeros, and any number that is a 1 with a lot of zeros attached to it. All you do is keep the number the same, then slap on how many zeros you multiplied by. When multiplying by 11, double the number. For example, 3 times 11 is equal to 33. 8 times 11 is 88. This works for all numbers 1 through 9. Any number multiplied by 0 will always be 0. For example, 3 times 0 equals 0. 7,334,737 times 0 still equals 0. No matter how big the number is, it always equals 0. This ties back to how multiplication is just repeated addition. When you add 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0, you can go on infinitively, and it will always equal 0. How to multiply multi-digit numbers. So first, we start with the equation 16 times 3. First, we multiply the 6 with the 3. From this, we get the number 18. Then, we separate the digits. We put the 8 right under the main equation on the very right side, so it looks like 6 times 3 equals 8, which is not the case because of the 1 that we have left over. With this 1, we move it above the 16, right above the 1 of the 16, and put a little plus symbol next to it to show that in a few steps we're going to add it to something. Then we multiply diagonally. 1 times 3, which equals 3. Then we take that number and we add it to the 1. We get 4. So the answer of 16 times 3 is 48. Let's try a bigger number. First, we start up to down with 3 times 7, which equals 21. We put the 1 right under the 3 and 7, and then we put the plus 2 over the next digit. Then we multiply 4 times 7, which equals 28. Then we add the plus 2 to get 30. We put the 0 underneath, and then put the plus 3 over on the next digit. Then we multiply 1 times 7, which equals 7. Then we add the 3, which equals 10. So then, 143 times 7 equals 1001. Let's try two multi-digit numbers being multiplied with each other. First, we start with the 3 times 5, which equals 15. We put the 5 underneath and put the plus 1 over the 4. Then we multiply 4 times 5, which we get 20, and then we add the 1 to it. Then we put the 21 right under there. Next, we have to put a 0 underneath the 5. This is because we're not multiplying just by 4. We're multiplying by 4D. So we have to start with a 0. Then we multiply the 3 and the 4 diagonally, which will get 12. We put the 2 underneath the equation and the 1 over the 4. Then we multiply straight down 4 times 4, which equals 16. Then we add the plus 1 to the 16 to get 17. Then we add both these numbers together to get 1,935. Now we're going to go over some extras. First, we have commutative property. If we go back to addition, we know that 1 plus 2 equals 3 and 2 plus 1 equals 3. It doesn't matter the order of the numbers, they both equal 3. This works in multiplication as well. So 2 times 4 equals 8, and 4 times 2 equals 8. 5 times 9 equals 45, and 9 times 5 equals 45. Next we have associative property. If we first multiply 5 times 2, which equals 10, and then decide to multiply 3, we get 30. But if we multiply 2 times 3 first, which equals 6, then multiply the 5, we still get 30. So both equal 30. Distributive property. If we have a 2 and we want to multiply it by the equation inside of the parentheses, first we multiply the 2 with the 5 to get 10. Then we multiply 2 with the 10 to get 20. And then we add both these numbers together to get 30. Parentheses. Numbers next to parentheses mean multiply. So if you have a number right next to a pair of parentheses, that means you multiply the outside number with the number inside of the parentheses. So we have 2 in parentheses 5, which equals 10. Then we have 3 in parentheses 4, which equals 12. Thanks for attending. Please check the description for the Welcome to Multiplication Bootcamp materials. Make sure to follow us for more content just like this, and make sure to check out our website. Get free tutoring today. Thank you for watching.